Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. This makeup tutorial is not all it makes out to be. Its message has gone viral and its creator has been banned from TikTok.
Then you're going to put them down and use your phone that you're using right now to search up what's happening in China, how they're getting concentration camps, throwing innocent Muslims in there, separating their families.
We go to Nigeria as people protest a proposed new social media law. A year from the beginning of the Yellow Vest movement, we're in Paris. A look at what makes these wheels turn in Myanmar. And in an animal doing stuff, this one is taking a nap in a car park. On top of our newsfeed, a viral TikTok video about Uighurs. It's been viewed millions and millions of times and is exactly the kind of social media activism that will, while seemingly novel now, soon become the new normal. Here's Patrick with more.
Now, if me curling my eyelashes on camera doesn't get your attention, then I don't know what will. But anyway, I'm going to put this down and I'm going to tell you why a series of videos by a 17-year-old Muslim girl doing exactly this is causing a big stir.
Hi guys, so I'm going to teach you guys how to get long lashes. So the first thing you need to do is grab your lash curler, curl your lashes obviously, then you're going to put them down and use your phone that you're using right now to search up what's happening in China, how they're getting concentration camps, throwing innocent Muslims in there, separating their families from each other, kidnapping them, murdering them, raping them, forcing them to eat pork, forcing them to drink, forcing them to convert different religions if not, or else they're going to, of course, get murdered. People that go into these concentration camps don't come back alive. This is another Holocaust, yet no one is talking about it. Please be aware. Please spread awareness. And yeah, so you can grab your lash curler again.
Faraz Aziz from New Jersey used this bait and switch technique in videos posted on the platform TikTok to tell people about alleged concentration camps in China's Xinjiang province, saying Muslims were getting kidnapped, murdered and forced to convert to other religions. Aziz claims her videos were pulled from TikTok, which is owned by the Chinese app developer ByteDance. TikTok has previously denied that it censors videos based on instructions by Beijing, but leaked documents suggest otherwise. It says Aziz's account was suspended because of another video with a meme of Osama Bin Laden. The US has warned that TikTok is a potential counterintelligence threat that cannot be ignored. Reports say as many as 1 million Uighur Muslims are imprisoned in internment camps in Xinjiang province.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Well, people are talking about Michelin stars online after a restaurant in Tokyo had its highly sought-after culinary status removed because regular people just can't get a table. The Tsukiyobashi Jiro is world famous, becoming one of the first sushi restaurants to be awarded 3 stars back in 2007. The Michelin committee says that they've taken away the star because you just can't get a reservation. It is election time in the United Kingdom and the Liberal Democrat Party is the latest to be caught spreading fake news. Literally, in this case, people on social media have been posting pictures of the front pages of authentic-looking publications with names that sound like community newspapers, like the Cheltenham Courier and the North West Leeds News. It turns out they're not local papers, but rather campaign leaflets designed to look like newspapers. And as it turns out, all the major UK parties do a similar trade in misinformation around election time and have been doing so for decades. And this image is being shared around. As you can see, it's a cow, yes, and it's in Russia. And yes, those are virtual reality glasses on it. The reality this cud chewer is seeing shows lush green pasture rather than the grim surroundings it normally has to deal with. The researchers behind the trial say that animals are calmer already. No word yet if their milk has improved. And this was popular on parts of Instagram. Some people in New York staged a Thanksgiving dinner on the subway for social media. It happened on the city's L train, and if you happen to be in that carriage, I do feel for you. Well, now to Nigeria, where Ajay brings us the story of some people who are demonstrating against changes to the law regulating social media use.
Nigerian people. Great.
This group of protesters is made up of ordinary Nigerians and civil society groups in Nigeria. They are protesting at the National Assembly against a bill that is seeking to regulate the use of social media in the country with penalties that could reach 3 years of jail term. They're also condemning part of the bill that is seeking to fine individuals that have been found guilty of spreading falsehood and hate speech up to $828 and $27,000 for corporate organizations. They say the government is trying to infringe on their rights to freedom of expression and speech. There have also been heavy criticisms online since the bill was introduced at the National Assembly a few weeks ago. Some have called for a petition that requires up to 100,000 signatures to stop the bill from going through. But the government says the level of hate speech and fake news online is capable of dividing the country and needs to be checked. The bill has already passed second reading on the floor of the Nigerian Senate.
What are we demanding? No to social media bill. What are we saying?
It is not clear what sort of impact this protest will have in the process, but the protesters say this is the first of many more until the bill is thrown out.
Okay, we'll keep spinning around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Wednesday. Well, Engage, a Muslim community group in the US, is calling on the US to boycott the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing over China's treatment of the Uighur. More than 1 million Uighur Muslims have been held in what China calls a re-education center in Jiangxing Uighur Autonomous Region. Documents leaked this week reveal that the purpose of these centers is not to give the Uighurs job skills, as the Chinese government say, but to strip them of their ethnic identity and religion. The United Nations published its annual emissions report, and it shows that the world is way off target when it comes to reducing carbon output. The planet is on course to exceed temperature thresholds, which will make extreme weather more likely, cause sea levels to rise, and threatens humanity's future on the planet. An advocate for the group Food and Water Action says the only way to reduce emissions by 50% is to stop extracting fossil fuels. A 19-year-old volunteer firefighter in Australia has been charged with arson. Police say the teenager set fires and then returned with his crew of volunteers to put them out. 6 people have died and hundreds of homes have been destroyed in what are some of the worst bushfires Australia has seen in decades. And this is a radar image of a Viking ship buried next to a church in Norway. It was found using new technology and is said to have been put in the ground as part of a traditional ship burial ceremony more than 1,000 years ago. Now, France saw a year of weekly demonstrations as part of the Yellow Vest movement. Now, just over a year after they first began, TRT1 sent Melda to Paris, where she met some demonstrators and saw that, for many, the fight is nowhere near over.
We go to the suburbs of Paris to meet Gwendal Leroy. He's one of the 25 people who were left blinded after being hit by a police grenade.
Je suis gilet jaune depuis le début du mouvement, 17 novembre 2018. J'ai jamais été violent. Et le jour où j'ai été blessé, j'ai reçu une grenade m'a été envoyée dans mon dos. J'ai entendu le bruit de l'impact sur le sol, je me suis retourné, j'ai vu une explosion. Et en fait, c'est l'écran noir. En fait. Il y a eu l'explosion et après l'écran noir. Et c'est vrai que suite à ça, du coup, je me suis retrouvé à l'hôpital, etc. Et en fait, je fais maintenant malheureusement partie d'une liste de mutilés qui n'auraient jamais dû voir le jour en France.
Gwendal takes us to the location where the protest will happen.
On vous dit de partir, c'est soit pour rentrer à la manifestation,
je veux dire, on n'a plus le droit de manifester.
soit vous y allez là dans la manifestation.
Regarde ce que j'ai pris déjà. Vous reculez, vous reculez. Voilà, vous reculez. C'est bien, c'est très bien. Tu me fais absolument très bien, voilà.
Mais vous êtes la honte de la France.
Vous reculez quand même.
Vous avez juste un brassard, plus de RIO, on sait même pas si vous êtes gendarme, on sait même pas si vous êtes policier.
Vous reculez quand même.
On sait même pas si on peut vous faire confiance.
Moi je peux même pas manifester parce que j'ai peur de vous.
While Gwendal decides to stay on the safe side, our team manages to get into the main square where protests are happening.
Qu'est-ce que vous voulez? Qu'on ait une paix sociable, qu'on ait le RIC aussi, et puis que tout le monde puisse manger à sa faim. C'est pas toujours ces capitalistes là qui s'en prennent plein la bouche, et puis que les pauvres petits peuples, ils payent. Vous savez là ce qu'ils font là, les flics, c'est nous qui les payons avec nos impôts, les gaz qui nous balancent et tout. C'est pas eux qui payent ça, c'est tout ça, nous on paye tout ça. Je suis dans les gilets jaunes, j'ai mon gilet là-dedans, mais on me l'a fait retirer parce que sinon on me donnait un coup de matraque.
So here you see some pieces of tear gas used by the police against the protesters. The smoke dispersed the crowd, but one protester fails to escape the gas cannon. 41-year-old Manuel is the latest, but perhaps not the last victim of police violence. As voluntary doctors carry him, Manuel doesn't know yet that his left eye will be blinded for the rest of his life. What are you doing here?
I'm helping the protesters who were attacked by the police, and there is a lot of injured today, like a person who lose the eyes. We extract this person from the protest.
Le mouvement chez les jeunes, il est marqué sur mon visage. C'est pour ça qu'il faut reconnaître que le mouvement chez les jeunes, dans la rue, c'est pas que je vois la sortie. Si on a tous pas avec la société, déjà on aurait été blessé pour rien.
Well, now we go to Myanmar and to the fair. Now, attractions at these kind of things are pretty similar all over the world. Most people will have been on a Ferris wheel, or Donme Delap, as we call it here in Turkey. But have you ever seen one that's operated like this? Pretty impressive by those guys. And last up, some video from California, the baby seal that had to be rescued. Now, the humans that saved this creature decided to call him Santos. The local fire department found him in a car park. Why he was there, no one knows. He was then taken to the Marine Mammal Center. There he's being cared for, will be released back into the wild. But while the rescue was going on, Santos got a little sleepy, so decided to take a nap, which many on the internet are enjoying looking at. Seal. And that is all from the Newsfeed team. Do reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel and you can follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe and add, and I will see you again tomorrow.